I know I'm a bit late to this story, but I wanted the opportunity to talk about this as I feel as though the conversations that I've been seeing have been missing out on a couple of key important factors. Guys, I am talking about the tragic murder of Iryna Zarutska. Now, to get you up to speed, Iryna was a 23-year-old Ukrainian refugee who came to the US in August of 2022 with her mother, sister, and brother after Russia attacked Ukraine. She was a talented and passionate artist who graduated with an art and restoration degree from Synergy College in Kiev. Now, she used her time here in the States to learn English and simply assimilate to the culture. Unfortunately, all of that changed in August when, while riding a North Carolina train in Charlotte, she was attacked and stabbed fatally for absolutely no reason. And understand, when I say absolutely no reason, this is not an exaggeration. This is not hyperbole. As with most things in the modern era, or with anything dealing with public transportation, this altercation was caught on camera. And we're going to check it out here. Now, again, I'm going to give a bit of a warning here. It is not great. I'm obviously not going to show everything uncensored because that would be ridiculous, but I'm still giving a warning because it's pretty sad to see. Now, guys, I just want to point out something real quick, just so that it's understood and that we have it. Right now, she is completely minding her own business. She's not bothering anybody. She is just with her head down, in her phone, in her own world. She doesn't say a thing, and she isn't bothering anybody again. And I think that's what makes what happens next that much more tragic. So you see, this dude gets up and he attacks her unprovoked for no reason at all. And at this point, she's just stopping and she's staring and she's looking at him. And you can see that she is shocked. She is surprised. I honestly can't even imagine what's going through her head at this moment in time. And to make matters worse, this dude is just like walking away. As you can see, the blood is on the ground right next to him. If you need any other indication that this guy has something wrong in the head, just look at how this entire thing is happening. This is the worst. Um, Now look, at this point, she's starting to cry a bit, and what will soon happen is that the initial shock will start to wear off, and the effects of her injuries will start to take over. This video was already blurred. I'm not. I'm gonna blur it out a lot more. I am not gonna let this play regularly here on YouTube. Um, it's uh, it's pretty insane to see. I'm only going to play the next part because I want to focus on something that this ridiculous person here in the red hoodie is going to say and how it is actually also, unfortunately, contributing to some of the threads involved in this conversation. Now, I don't know if you heard that, but I'll tell you what he said. Like the ridiculous person he is, he just said, I got that white girl. And the unfortunate aspect of him saying that is that he now brought in a racial element that people are absolutely jumping on, and it makes this whole thing that much worse, unfortunately. We're going to I think we're gonna leave it there, guys. I'll just like more or less I'll just explain to you what happens here at the end. Dude is basically going to stand in that train. The bystanders who now saw what happened are going to rush to the girl as she is going to eventually start to succumb to the injuries. She's going to fall over. People are going to try to help her. It is not going to be enough. It's too little too late, considering the type of injury she has. This dude is going to stand on the train as though nothing happened. And obviously, as crazy as that is, all the people call the cops and he will get arrested when this train stops. Now, fast forward to today, and the clown in the red hoodie, Decarlos Brown, has officially been charged with first degree murder, as well as a federal charge for committing an act which leads to death on a mass transportation system. Now, understand that that federal charge comes with the possibility, the death penalty. So we'll just say that no matter what the outcome is, things are not going to go well for this guy.
You stupid.
Now, I want to take a moment to shift the conversation slightly and talk about the history of DeCarlos Brown because people are trying to ask themselves, why is it that this man has been allowed to be on the streets after being arrested over 14 times dating back 2007 from assault, robbery, larceny, firearms possession, and his most recent one, which is the misuse of the 911 system. Based on my understanding, he did the time for whatever he would have been doing the time for. For example, he did about 5 years in jail for the robbery, and he also did time for some of the misdemeanors on his sheet as well. I think people just see the 14 times arrested and assume that this guy should be locked up forever. And I get it. You might feel like he's a repeat offender. And so are the sentences that he received adequate? And look, that's a fair conversation one way or the other. But I think in a lot of ways, that's just simply not the way it works. I think the other element which throws people off is the fact that he has been diagnosed with a severe case of schizophrenia. And when I say severe, I mean he suffers from serious hallucinations and paranoia, actually giving his reason for killing Iryna. And the reason is absolutely ridiculous. This man actually said that he killed her because she was reading his mind. This level of brain brokenness, guys, is beyond the pale. And I feel like it speaks to the bigger problem that we have in our system. You see, his mother was aware of his situation, and she actually kicked him out the house at one point. She tried to get him help by getting him committed to an involuntary facility to get him treatment. So that way, he would no longer be a danger to himself and possibly others. The problem with these facilities, though, is that they will not hold you more than like a day. If they see that you're fine while you're there, or if you're having an episode and you calm down, they'll hold you for a moment and then they'll simply release you. Because guys understand, in order to take away someone's rights and have them in a place, a facility against their will, they have to do something crazy. And by crazy, I mean criminal. And therein lies the major problem with the system. It is reactive, not proactive. So understand that that gray area where you see somebody and you think to yourself, they could be a harm to themselves or others, but they have not yet done anything. Right now, there's typically nothing you can do about it. Like at most, if you were to call the authorities, they would just try to say, oh, well, you can go to this place or that place, and maybe there's some resources to help you out with your situation. But reality dictates that there is not much you can do without that person themselves wanting to do it. And the problem is that that person themselves is in this position where they're going through their own internal battle. So they might not even want to go and get the help. So now, what would you do? This is the issue that his mother was having. This is the problem that people around the world are having when they also have people in their lives in a similar situation. I would hope more than anything that we can push for a system that helps people deal with this gray area because then we would avoid crazy situations happening where we get the loss of life of a Ukrainian refugee or any of the other people affected by these situations. Instead of what I am seeing today, which is people doubling down in their racism and their anger, and instead looking at this situation and thinking to themselves, well, it's a black guy, rather than, no, it's a guy who has a serious mental illness that a society allows to go untreated and does nothing about it until it's too late. What I want more than anything when talking about the situation is that I want us to start taking mental illness as a society seriously. And no, I'm not talking about taking an extreme position, which is like going after the mentally afflicted or giving them a pass. In fact, I think this DeMarcus dude is trash, and I will lose absolutely no sleep over what comes next in his case. But I am saying being enraged and yapping on the internet after hearing about a story like this, time and time again, while having absolutely No plan to prevent something like this from happening again in the future is simply not good enough. I think in moments like this, we need to focus on getting justice for the victims, helping the mentally afflicted, and ensure that they will not be a danger to themselves and to others, and putting the culture war nonsense to the side so that way we can focus on actually finding solutions that would benefit society. I may be a small channel screaming out into the void on this topic, but I do feel it is a message worth delivering. RIP to Iryna Zarutska and condolences to her family. That's my perspective. What's yours? Let me know in the comments down below. Like the video if you have not already and subscribe as I got much more content, hopefully not this terrible, on the way. So until next time, YouTube, peace.